The life of a professional esports athlete is pretty hectic. Between all the practice, travel, and competition, there really isn't much time to just sit down and relax.
Basically, with scrimming and streaming, that takes up like 10 hours a day, literally. So it's like, you don't really have that much time elsewhere. So I basically just like go to the gym and then scrim and stream. That takes up like 14 hours out of the day just doing that, basically.
But building a community on Twitch can take a long time, and when most of your day is already packed with scrims and sleep, not many top players are willing to dedicate what's left of it to the chaos of Twitch chat. Hell, some of the greatest esports competitors in the entire world, like my boy Simple, only find time to stream once in a blue moon because they're just too busy slapping people around on LAN.
Throughout this CT side. Oh, nice shot from Simple. Alistair goes for the fight. Unable to get the kill. Simple isn't happy with one. He wants even more, and he gets the shot through the door. Another shot lands. Simple looking for it. He finds a headshot. Simple just taking over right now. Oh, he's going for more, Dingo. He's going for more. Simple's hitting all the headshots with the orb, and it's gonna be the ace. Simple puts Na'Vi to 15. He just fights everyone.
But what if I told you that for Shahzeb, ShahZam, Khan, climbing to the top of Valorant's competitive scene simply wasn't enough? That in spite of his full-time commitment to bossing a lineup of absolute mad lad killers, he still makes enough room in his day to scream, laugh, and frag for tens of thousands of Valorant fans every single night.
Oh man, no way you guys are getting all these kills, dude. What the f? No way!
Sure.
And not only is ShahZam voluntarily subjecting himself to Valorant's matchmaking, which, let's be honest, doesn't always bring out the best in everyone.
Get off my ass!
But he's somehow able to do so while keeping up an infectious positive energy. So how is it that ShahZam has been able to balance a high-level esports career with an incredibly successful stream? What are his motivations for taking on such an insane workload? And how did it help him to support his family when they needed it most?
Back for 10. No.
52. Just shoot him.
Let's go! Yeah!
Okay, so before we dive into Shahz's story, please take a second and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so that the next time we release a Sentinels video, which we will, you can come and hear Shahz scream a bunch, because he does that a lot. So aside from being the IGL and mastermind behind Valorant's first World Championship winning roster, who is this 27-year-old Maryland native? Well, when he's not ripping around in his Corvette or hitting the gym with his teammates, ShahZam always makes sure to take a moment to FaceTime his mom back home. But that's when Shahz actually has free time. You see, like most esports pros, the bulk of his day is spent sharpening his skills in scrims. And in spite of winning countless events with Sentinels over the past year, probably the most impressive thing about Shahz is that he somehow finds the drive to stream an additional 7 to 8 hours of Valorant every night.
Let's go. Sniper go. I think he's offside.
Bro, this guy's actually running and shooting.
And while most players spend their time in ranked raging, ShahZam is kind of just vibing, jamming out to Lil Uzi Vert and generally having a good time with whoever he has along for the ride.
Look down, you go under it.
No, you can't.
Look down, you go under it.
Limbo.
Yeah, you gotta look down, look down. I gotcha.
Now, what's interesting is that unlike a lot of Valorant's biggest content creators, Shahz didn't jump on the streaming bandwagon with the game's release. In fact, a lot of you Valorant kiddies probably don't know this, but Shahz has actually been streaming since most of you were but a twinkle in your father's nutsack. Twinkle in your father's... That doesn't make any sense. Who wrote this? Bro, if you have a twinkle in your nutsack, like, you're gonna get that checked out.
It's actually crazy. I've been streaming since 2011, when Justin.tv became Twitch.tv. I started off streaming Counter-Strike Source Bugs and then streaming CSGO when I was in high school and college. And I remember like me and Summit were competing for the #1 slot with like 300, 400 viewers back then. And, like I decided to go pro and like I quit streaming for a bit and Summit went full time.
It was probably for the best for Summit, since we all saw his pro career go up in flames. Summit! No! You know I had to. Anyway, between the training and traveling to events that his pursuit of a CSGO career demanded, ShahZam wasn't able to spare much time for streaming. Now, he would still stream here and there, but the rigorous schedule of a pro player prevented him from going live consistently to build an audience. Don't get me wrong, he loved being on the road.
You get so caught up in like little things in life or whatever, like in your own community, but when you travel, you realize there's just like so much more, exposure to different cultures and people like all around the world. It's like the most humbling experience. So I'm glad that I got to travel. I got to see the world rather than like spend a lot of that time in my apartment. I wouldn't trade those experiences for anything.
Now, as much as ShahZam was relishing the pro gamer life, in late 2019, his CSGO career hit an unexpected wall when complexity dropped him after a poor showing at the Berlin Major. And if things didn't seem like they could get any worse, they certainly did when COVID-19 rolled around and turned the world on its head. With strict travel restrictions being implemented globally, ShahZam found himself grounded at home. And even though it initially felt like his wings were being clipped by the pandemic, the world shutting down presented Shahz with the opportunity to rededicate himself to streaming. And luckily for him, the timing couldn't have been better. Valorant was taking Twitch by storm, and seeing its potential as an esport, Shahz went all in on the game. And in what felt like seemingly no time, his commitment to the grind had earned him a spot on Sentinel's new roster.
He pushed.
He's out garage with the soul.
Guys, I killed the C guy. I'm just taking it.
Yeah, he's garage though.
As Sentinels and ShahZam started to dominate the North American Valorant scene, more eyeballs began following him over to his stream each night. But they weren't necessarily tuning in to see the big brain of Valorant's best team getting sweaty and ranked. No. You see, Shahz doesn't exactly play the same way in officials as he does on stream. Despite top fragging in most of his ranked games, he's often messing around and trying things that would never really work in a pro setting.
Yo, let me res you, Shahzam.
Oh, so you're saying I'm gonna die?
Oh my god. Oh my god.
But for ShahZam, streaming isn't only about creating viral highlights of his best plays. It's also been the perfect platform for him to engage with his fans.
Streaming for me was never just playing the game, because I play the game all day anyways. It was more so like the interactions, just like trying to have a good time. Like, you know, when I keep ranked and play with different people, like regardless of like we're just playing Valorant, like I think it's more fun when it becomes a social experience. And I think people can relate to that a lot more.
And ShahZam's supporters aren't the only ones who enjoy his on-stream antics either. Other high-level players have also come to appreciate the energy he brings to their matches.
In ranked, like sometimes it gets like tilting, you get tired out and stuff like that. So when you have like Shahz on your team, you know there's always gonna be good vibes. It's always high energy. And like sometimes you'll be losing, but you're still feeling like you're winning just because like the vibes are so high. You're like, wait, we're losing? I don't know how he does it, honestly. Like after practicing and like gymming and stuff, like I have no energy personally, so it's kind of crazy.
Oh, where is my mind? Yeah. Why? Go back, run back!
30 seconds left. Enemy remaining.
Watch this.
Spike down, attacker spawn.
Since Sentinel's win in Iceland back in May, ShahZam's stream has exploded. Over the past 3 months, he averaged more than 11,000 viewers per stream, and his sub count has increased by the same amount. Plenty of new faces have stopped by his stream, because it has become the place to be if you want to watch high skill, high energy Valorant late at night. And although some of his new viewers might be a little surprised by all the yelling and screaming he does, his OG followers have come to expect it.
So it's kind of funny because Now everything's blowing up and like people are seeing it, but that's kind of been like my stream since the very beginning. I used to have longer practice days on my Counter-Strike teams, and then immediately after I'd make a coffee and then like load up the stream and stream FPL all night. Like high energy, lots of noise complaints.
We going for that? They're diffuser. What? Get the defuse! Go! Go! They're both me! They're both me! They're both me! Get it!
But ShahZam's recent success on Twitch is not something that he takes for granted. After the tragic, unexpected death of his father late last year, he's become even more motivated to work harder and support his mom. And thankfully, his stream has allowed him to do just that.
I wanted to build some sort of like stable income, mostly because like esports is volatile. Like, you know, players get dropped, never know what happens, you know, your org can get dropped. Like I've been through it all. And so my stream became a way to like take care of everything back home, taking over everything for my mom and stuff. That was like the biggest thing for me, was that now like I've got some sort of stability where like I can tell my mom like I've got her handled, obviously after everything that happened.
And while it can be kind of difficult to comprehend how he can balance such a crazy workload, the fact that he can has made the community appreciate him even more.
Happy birthday. What the fuck, dude? Sorry, that's very loud. I gotta turn this down.
I'm happy for him because, like I said, like what he does, like practicing probably like 6 hours a day minimum, and then doing all that and like what he went through this year, and still like finding time to stream 8 to 9 hours a day. He's on the grind. Like it's hard to do that, especially streaming. Like people understand it's mentally draining, especially with like something like Valorant ranked. Like that can actually like drain you out a lot. The fact he keeps his energy high is like insane.
For ShahZam, the grind never stops. Even after streaming and playing professionally for over a decade, he still has an unbelievable, unquenchable thirst to succeed. And while other players might struggle with burnout, he's always happy to share what's left of his free time, putting a smile on his fans' faces.
I always enjoyed it. It's just fun. Playing the game, like interacting with people. It sounds like cliche, I guess, but it's something I've always like really enjoyed. And to see it blow up is kind of insane because I didn't expect it. People always ask me like, what could have been if you stuck to streaming? Like if you stuck back then, like one of the OGs. But it's cool to see.
So now, even with Valorant pros preparing for the game's busiest time of the year, don't be surprised if you find ShahZam doing what he loves almost every night. Dumpstering fools on Twitch and acting like a maniac while he does it.
One enemy.
Oh my god! Did he just DC?
What the f was that?
I think it's Lil Uzi Vert. I think you're not supposed to say Lil Uzi Vert. I think Keith made fun of me for people, or made fun of people who said that. I don't know who Lil Uzi Vert is, guys. I'm sorry. Lil Uzi Vert. That's better than Lil Uzi Vert. Lil Uzi Bear. Lil Uzi Vert. Keith is just dying right now. Like he's actually just having a stroke as we speak.